Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman Wargamer. This time we're trying a playthrough of a brand new game from Lock and Load Publishing. It's Space Infantry Federation. Published, as I say, by Lock and Load Publishing and designed by Nathan Hansen. Little bit of a setup with this game, so let's have a look at that. There are 4 game boards or maps with this game, the first one of which is the main game board. And here we are, and we're surrounded by alien civilizations that, depending which way you look at it, they want to conquer us or we want to conquer them. And we have the Chthonians here, the Flesh Eaters, mutants and cybers. Up here are the dastardly mercenaries trying to cash in on everybody else's misery. As you can see, for the 4 main alien civilizations, they've got planets. And we of the Sol system win if we capture every single one of these 6 spaces. The mercenaries don't have any, of course, because, as I said, they're opportunists. They will attack us if they feel they can and back off when things get too hot. So, to set up this board, here we can see 3 spaces for each alien civilization, or faction as they're called in the game. And into those we put their respective fleets. So, for the Chthonians, we have scouts, raiders, and their flagship. And they are put in ascending order from this arrow right to left. So let's do that for the rest of them. Also, each faction has 6 technology counters, which they obtain during the game. There we are. And they are placed next to their respective factions. Some people shuffle them and put them in piles, but what I do is I put them in a little pot when I need to draw one, so I can draw one randomly. So we'll place those there. And let's get the others out. And the last thing we place is one of our flagships. And that goes there. That's the main game board done. Here is the political board, and it's split into 4 main parts: politics, war effort, researched technologies, which we'll see as the game progresses, and this is the engine that we use for the activation chits, which we'll see during the game. The politics part shows the relationship between the 4 main factions of the game. Are they making alliances, or are they indeed at war? At the beginning of the game, we use these tokens here to indicate that everybody is neutral. So nothing happening between the Chthonians and the mutants, and the Flesh Eaters and the cybers. But also, nothing's happening between the Chthonians and the Flesh Eaters and the mutants and the cybers. This might change during the course of the game. In the middle here we have 3 tracks, and these concern us. The middle one concerns the stability of the Sol system, and that starts at 3. Losses are concerned with the Sol system's fleet losses. And desire is the Sol's population desire for expansion. If the stability reaches 0, we lose the game. And that can occur if the desire for expansion isn't satiated. This will move up. It can only move up 1. If it moves or tries to move up again, It can't, so it will push down the stability. And the same happens with the losses. Fleet losses, if they occur, will cause this to move up. And then if it needs to move up again, once more it will push that down instead. So that's one way we can lose. This one here, war effort, is concerned with the relationship between us and the alien factions. Are they at peace with us? Cold War? Are they mobilising against us? Are they at war with us or total war? At the start, the four main factions are at peace, except the mercenaries, who are at total war with us. And depending how these factions are in relation to us, determines what activation chits they can use. And as you can see, hopefully, as they get nearer total war, they can use more of the activation chits. But we'll go through that when we start the game. Down here, any technologies that the Sol system has successfully researched will go there. And as I say, this is used for the activation chits. Right, that's the political board. Here is the resource board, and quite a lot goes on here. So we'll have a quick overview of what's involved. Up here we've got the research progress. Any technologies that end up there can move along these tracks to get to 100%, and then we can use them, and they are placed on the researched technologies box on the political board. The resource pool are resources that are available for us to put on this, the resource track, and hopefully they will move down quickly to here where we can use them, along with any that are stored in this stored resources box. This is the locked assets box, and these assets are released once these bases here are used to colonize planets on the main game board. Unbuilt assets are available to use if we pay to build them with a build token, and we'll have a look at those in a minute. Right, let's get this set up. First thing is we're going to place the bases on here, but there is a little thing we have to be aware of. These weren't printed as correctly as they would have liked. We've got the little spanner icon there, but there should also be, I believe, one of these on it. One of these on it. It's not a big deal because that little single sword icon just indicates if enemy movement into that space triggers combat. We're not granted any combat bonuses. And on the other side, because these are 2 steps and you can sort of upgrade them, instead of this little icon, we should have one of those, I believe, saying that there are bonuses to combat. So, these we place in their respective spaces. There we go, and I hope I've got it right about the misprinted counters, but I dare say somebody let me know if that's not the case. This one, however, you can see I've not placed this one because we have to unlock that one to unlock this one. So the counter for now is placed here. These are the resources which are released, so we'll place those now, and the map tells you exactly how many to use of each, so we'll do that. There we go, and just to explain what these are, it's very icon driven, this game. These are build tokens which we use to build bases and flagships and things. These are maneuver tokens allowing us to move. Research, of course, to do with the technologies. Espionage. Morale and diplomacy. We also need to place these flagships. There we go. And these are technologies which we have to place, but there are two types because there's some more here. We've got to make sure we place the correct ones here. And these are the ones with our little icon up the top there. Now there are 5 of them and 4 spaces, so we pick 4 randomly and the other one goes face down up there in the unresearched technology box. Here are the 4 warp technology counters and place here. And the 2 allied ships and the warp counters go there. And lastly, we place Sol here and the mines there. Nearly finished. All the unused resources now are placed in the box. And we're allowed to start off with 5 stored resources. We can pick any of these we wish, but Nathan recommends that you start with one of these, a build token, a maneuver, a research, espionage, and a morale. But as I say, you can pick whatever you wish to fill this up. There we go. There's one last thing. We will have to sort of populate this before we start the game, but we'll do that when we're ready to begin. Right, that's the resource board. The last board to deal with is the event board. It's a nice easy one to set up. And this is where, if we're told to draw a random event, we will do so from one of the random event tokens we've got here. We see what it is. And we're going to place it on the corresponding icon on the board, roll a die and see what it says. So we mix those up and place them up here. There we go. We're all set up and ready to play. So let's get going. Here's the game set up in all its glory. As you can see though, it's quite a large footprint, so we'll be zooming in to specific parts of the game. Oh yes, this token. This is the other one, I think. That's incorrect. This symbol here and here, I believe, should be those crossed swords. Whoops, crossed swords there. If I can get it in focus. Misbehaving. There we are. And as long as you remember that, it's not a big deal and is only used during combat. Right, we've got to populate the resource track. So we take 5 dice. Oh, it's not great. So we've got a 6, 4, a couple of 2s, and a 1. So we can place resources in these spaces. Remember, this is the only column that is unlocked at the moment until we free them up with these morale tokens. These are going to take a while to travel down. What we're going to need first? Well, I think we'll have a let's have a move here. Now remember, I'm playing this, so you will play it completely different. And the caveat is that these are me playing the game through to the best of my ability, having fun and showing you hopefully what the game is about, so you can see if it's for you or not. Right, that out of the way. I think we'll have, a build there. Now we're going to put up here. We'll have Oh no, I don't have to have two here. They're the same. What are we going to put there? Couple of research there. Let's have a morale. Okay, that's it. We're now ready to sort out the activation queue, so let's move across to there. So we're going to place 5 activation chits here. Here's the bag, and we are playing the sort of medium difficulty. So if I can show you, here we are. On these activation tokens, you can see 3 little heads, green, yellow and red. If you want to play the easy version, pick all the tokens that have a green head. We're doing the sort of medium, intermediate, so yellow and red if you want to go bonkers with the hard mode. So we'll give them a mix up and we'll pop them down. Oh, good. There we go. And we just pull in the first chit. And I'll tell you now, when the game starts, not a lot will happen because the factions here, apart from the mercenaries, are all at peace with us, and only those activation chits will apply. So what's the first one? Here we go. This one, as you can see, has the mercenary icon in the top left. This is greed and will move the mercenary token down towards total war, but they're already at total war, so no good there. So we move this along, draw another token. This one is for the Chthonians, and it is border friction. And even though they can use it, it will only apply if we have a base within that alien's territory. We don't, but it just started, so no, we can ignore that one. There we go, and the ones we want to be looking out for are these, because that means it's our go. There's our little icon. And we're going to throw dice and muck about with the resource track. And it says here we can throw twice the amount of dice we can throw. So that's the end of the alien's turn. It is now our turn. So you may be asking, why are we filling this up if when we pull one of those, the turn will end? Well, the maneuver token can actually, if you sacrifice it, that is, get rid of it from the game, will allow you to move an activation token, a particularly bad one you don't want to see, for instance, to the holding box without anything occurring. You can then draw 3 activation tokens to replace it and put the others back in the bag. So that's why that's continually filled up. So, back over to the resource board. Before we throw our dice, I just wanted to clear something up. I did mention it in the video earlier during the setup part, but this token here, the warp token, I said can only be released once we build that base. Whilst that is true, it then gets put up here and is researched before it can be placed here. So I'm going to leave that face down to remind me. So hopefully that's cleared that up. So we're going to throw dice now and try and fill up this resource track a bit more. And we can throw dice equal to the amount of these little tokens, these little spanner and cog tokens here. We've only got one at the moment, so one die. But if you remember, our token here, if I can get it in focus, there we go, has two little dice icons. That means we can throw our dice twice. Not that we double them up, so we don't throw two dice, we throw one dice twice, if that makes sense. Right, here we go. 5. Oh, good. That's free. What are we going to put there? I think we're going to have a build there, so we'll pop that there. What else? 5 again. No, that's full up. These haven't been opened up yet. So that's it. Right, now these move down. And we can use the ones at the bottom plus any in the stored resources. So what are we going to do? I think the first thing we'll do is build our soul base, if you like. And that will give us a little bit of defense and an extra die next time. And to do that, we have to, no, not them, use one of them, a build token. So there we go, that's there. Whoops. We've got 2 maneuvers. So who are we going to invade first? We've got these 2 factions with just the one. Let's annoy the mutants. So to move, we have to use a maneuver token. So we're going to do that. And we're going to move 1. We could actually move here. We can't build a base because we're out of build tokens. But we could move there. So we're ready for next turn because this will be coming down. Or we may want to upgrade our soul base here to make it even more defensive. Let's have a think. While we're doing that though, I'm going to use this research token, and that will allow us to, at this stage anyway, to reveal up to 2 face down technologies we've got here. Pick one and place it on the first track to research. So I think we'll do that. What have we got here? Well, what's this? That is a real-time translator, and we can add 1 die to all espionage contested role attempts, and we can select the die roll we want. That's not going to happen at the moment, and when it does, we'll show you exactly what that's all about. So for now, that starts here, and any other research tokens we get, we can either do the same if we've got any face down research tokens there, turn them up, put them on the track, or try and move this along. This one we'll use and unlock that column. As I say, I don't think we'll be using espionage yet. Let's see what happens. And we'll keep our maneuver in the bank. So we can have up to 5. There we are, I think that's it. Back to our activation chits. Okay, we're back at the politics board, and we now have to remove any tokens that have been put in the holding box. Move these up and replace. I think that's how it goes. If not, let me know, because I have seen a couple of variations on how this activation part is dealt with. We now move in the first token, and it is another border friction for the Chthonians. I can get that in focus. There we are. And as before, they can use it, but it only applies if we have a base in their territory, which we don't. So Another border friction, this time for the cybers. So once again, nothing's happening. Oh dear. This is one of the universal tokens, as you can see, and it's got the little Raiders symbol there. And that is a fast Raiders token. And as it's a universal one, we check all factions to see if they have the fast Raider technology on their tracks here, which they don't. If they did, they would be able to scoot along their Raiders one space towards Sol. But in the rules it says if no alien race has the fast Raider tech, this effect defaults to a random event. That's up there. Off we go. So up at the events board, we're going to pick one of these tokens. So I'll just give them, excuse my arm, just give them another sort of gentle mix up, just in case. I don't trust me either. And we're going to pick one. And what have we got? That's the technology. Oh dear. We now roll a die and see what happens. It's a 4. Oh, spend research. That means we've got to get rid of one of our research tokens, I believe. And it's done in a certain order. First we look at stored resources down the bottom there. No, there aren't any research tokens there. Then in the deployed resources, no. Or the next resource you would receive from the resource track. We've got a couple on there. So we remove that from the resource track and place it in the resource pool. Could have been worse, I suppose. Once these are all used up, we'll mix them up again and put them back. Back to the activations. Oh, no sign of any of our tokens yet. That's a spawn for the cybers, but they can't use it. Still no luck. Whoops. Here's another universal token, and once again, this is actually the random event. Back up there we go. So, what are we going to get this time? Once again, excuse my arm. Oh. There we go. Oh. Internal politics. 6. Free propaganda action. Problem is, that will be great later on in the game because we can use one of those and spend it without spending it. And that would allow us to move the expansion desire or military losses back up. But it's of no use to us at the moment. So back to the activation queue. As I say, the propaganda action is of no use, unfortunately, at the moment, because it would have allowed us to move either the losses or desire token back down 1 or the stability up 1. But we're okay at the moment, so onwards. Oh, still no luck. Oh dear, this is a press for the Chthonians. That's not good, because if there were any fleets out for that faction, they would move towards Sol or try to occupy their unoccupied named space, as they call them, or planets. But no, they haven't. So that press turns into a spawn. So they're coming onto the board. The lowest one starts on the highest numbered space of that faction. We just move those down. Oops. There we go. So that's not good at all. And this isn't going to be good either. Aha! We have our token, but it's a -1. Here's another spawn for the mercenaries, and as they are at total war, they can use their spawn. So this is coming on, and because of this, they can now advance all their fleets. So there we go, they're off. Oh dear. I think that's how it works. Oh, like buses. There we go. That is a Chthonian advance. But will only apply if they are at war or total war, but they're not. So they're staying where they are. Another advance for the flesh eaters, but it's no good to them. Oh, crikey. Chthonians. Oh, get into... There we go. Border friction. But no, we don't have any bases. And at last, we have our token, but every die we roll will be at a -1. So let's go and have a look at that. So here we are back at the resource board, and we've only got one now because of that random event. But we can throw 1, 2 dice, but they are at a -1. Oh, so that's 2 2s. Luckily, this is now free to use, but as before, we have to place 2 of the same in that space. We can't mix and match. So I think we'll have a couple of, well, just a bit of a ways away. We could try and hope that we'll get a higher number next time. So these are nearer. No, let's do that. So we've got 2 of those there. Right. Now they move down. And this can come over here. And I think what we're going to do is move with our maneuver token. We're going to move it there. And then with our build token, we're going to build our first base. So we can take our pick. What do we need most of all? We'll probably start with the build base here. So we'll pop that there. That is turned into that sort of thing. That's the base there. And this goes back into the unbuilt assets. Now that means next turn we can throw 3 dice. But because we built a base, the mutants I've got the right ump. And their war effort is going to go down the number of spaces that base is from Sol. So 1, 2. So it's going to go down 2 spaces. And they are now at mobilized. We'll show you that in a moment. Now, do we use our espionage? We could place it. Because the mutants have moved down to mobilized, the tech activation token is now available. And if they get that, they will place a tech on their highest free space there, in this case the 6. We could put our espionage here, and what will happen if they do get a tech, they'd have to contest that and throw a die, and they either lose, so they can't do the tech, or they throw and that gets removed, but they don't place the tech, or that gets removed and they do place the tech. Do you know what? I think we will. I think we will. We'll place it there just in case next time they get a tech token. Right. We are out of resources. So it's back to the political board, and we're going to pull some more activation tokens. So these go back into the bag. This moves along. And we get, oh dear, a press for the flesh eaters. So this is the next token. Of course it's ours, but this one has 2 die sort of icons on it, which means we can throw the amount of dice twice. But what I think we'll do, I'm going to keep you in suspense. I'm going to leave it there because the video's been going on quite a while. When we return, we'll start with the Federation turn. Just before I sign off, let me just move these along. I did mention it in the video, but of course when you build a base, you unlock all these assets, and I forgot to bring them across, so I'll do that now. Those go there, that goes on there. We have another technology up there. The other thing was the research from the event board, which said spend research. I thought that just meant we have to put it back into the resource pool, but because it's got the word spend on it, I'm taking that literally, and we can spend and do its action. So with the research, we can either, as you know, turn up to 2 of these over and put one in there, or we can move this along. I'll tell you what we'll do, because we've got a couple coming down here. I'll turn this one over, and it is, put it there. That is a mil-spec ops engine. Military specification operation engines? I don't know. But it will allow us, when researched, to move 1 flagship or ally ship without spending a move. So there we go. We've got 2 on the track there. Right. Apologies for all the little daft mistakes, but you know me. And that you found this interesting and you enjoyed it. If you did, and it was, and you haven't done so already, it really does help the channel if you would consider subscribing to it. Also of great help is liking the actual video, the old thumbs up. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the old bell. Leave a comment. What do you think? Has this piqued your interest in this game? Let me know. I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you very much. And one last thing. If you wish to support the channel a little bit further, well, now you can. You can buy the channel a coffee. And all those coffees go towards new content for the channel to upload. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description, and thank you. So what's going to happen next time? The mutants are mobilizing because of our base in their territory. So join us next time for Space Infantry Federation, from Lock and Load Publishing and designed by Nathan Hansen. So until then, as always, you take care and goodbye.